Spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning.
A few moments later.
I'm Jon Snow of the North.
You're so, Freddie Mercury with that jacket. Door. No, you're good.
Woo! So, we just saw episode 6.
I forgot something.
Wow, we just finished episode 6. It's the next day. We had to wait until the morning to watch it, and I'm gonna be honest, like, I on my social media feed, I saw a bunch of, like, what the heck? Oh my god, that's how they're gonna end it? I'm so disappointed. Like, what do you feel about that?
I thought it was great. I loved it.
Like, how much blood do you people need? Like, okay, episode 5 gave you all the blood you could handle. Like, let's have a nice storytelling ending. Like, what was wrong with that? I loved from the first second to the credits. I loved the whole episode.
I did too.
Tyrone.
Tyrion?
Tyrone. Hey, Tyrone, what up? What up, Tyrone?
I mean, I don't know what movie you're watching.
Anyways, Tyrion. It's actually, I wrote Tyrion. I don't know why I just said Tyrone.
It's because it looks like Tyrone.
Tyrion walks through the city and goes straight, sees all the bodies, and goes beeline straight for his brother, and then cries when he finds him. What do you think about that?
I think it's realistic. I think if we were to be like, why does he care about Jaime and Cersei? They were evil and messed up and disgusting individuals. Why is he crying? I thought it'd be funny if he took that stone and smashed it on Cersei's head just for fun. But no, that would have been evil and wrong.
She actually said that while we were watching it, because he uncovers their face and he picks up the stone and he gets angry and just starts smashing it. And she was like, I really wish she was smashing Cersei in the face.
That's so bad.
I thought it was cool because it shows Tyrion's connection to his brother. You know, he sent him in there. He tried to save him. He tried to save the city. Everything epically failed. Everyone he tried to save literally died.
And I think he wants what's best for his family, but he can't control their actions. So they're going to act all crazy and a fool, and I think it's disappointing. I think the whole thing behind the Lannister history is disappointment.
But I love it, though, because I love the way that the writers did that, because that's life. Yeah. Like, Tyrion had the absolute best of intentions, and he picked the wrong person.
He tried so hard.
And it shows.
He tried so hard.
Yeah, like, your heart can be in the right place, and you can be doing everything you think is right, and it all blows up and you're epically wrong. Is Tyrion a bad guy? No.
Because ultimately, sorry to interrupt you, but you cannot control other people. That's the real life situation. Yep. I think Tyrion, he is reasonable. He is the voice of reason, and he said so in the end that he loved Daenerys. I think everybody loved Daenerys, and we loved Daenerys. We all wanted to see her make the right decision, and she chose not to, and it's very heart-wrenching.
There is that Jon Snow, the whole series, knew what was right and wrong the whole time. He was focused on defending the people and what's right and wrong. But then when he got caught up with Daenerys, he couldn't think straight. And I think, you know, they talked about it. They said, you know, love comes in the way of duty, you know? And she laughed because she goes, oh, they said duty. Yep. So it's cool, like, someone who was so, like, driven to defend people, and even he was, like, sitting there going, well, she is our queen. Well, we did win the war. It's like, bro, she just slaughtered millions of people. Are you not seeing that? You know, no one in this story is perfect. They have the same battles we have.
I think sometimes if you saw our last video, Boo is the boss of Boo is putting Savage in check right now as we speak. Like, right now. She's putting him in check. And
that's
she
her.
is 15 years old with renal disease.
And she's saying, Jakaris.
I distracted myself. A lot of times when I watch like movies or TV series that are like a movie, you get so mad, but at the same time, if you really think about the writing and the characters, it makes sense.
Yeah, they're trying to be real. Like, you can't have like I said, a Marvel ending every time. You know.
She was saying she's gonna take on all these other oh my goodness. Hey,
we're recording here.
Stop. So anyway,
we will not stop with Kings. We will not stop with King's Landing. We will go from Winterfell all the way down. Oh, who's in Winterfell? Sansa.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest clue there, right?
Yeah,
she's
because
going after Sansa. There's no doubt she'd go after Sansa.
Everyone knows Sansa would rather die. then bend the knee. Tyrion goes up there and right in front of everyone, like a baller, blink, I quit.
That's why I love that guy, Tyrion.
I was like, Tyrion, you are dead.
I thought he was going to get eaten by the dragon.
Betrayed his queen in front of everybody. Tyrion, biggest badass in the whole show. So now we're at Jon Snow and his decision to take out Daenerys. And what I thought was interesting about this scene is that he goes to her and pleads for her to make the right decision. Like, so he still didn't know he was going to do it. Like, when he goes into that room with her, right before he stabs her and kills her, like, he hadn't made up his mind yet to do it. Like, he was still trying to convince her to make the right decisions. And it reminded me of when Daenerys was pleading with Cersei for a peaceful resolution, and Cersei said, cut off the chick's head. So it's really funny because at one point, Daenerys was on the peaceful side of it, and now she's the tyrant, and Jon Snow is trying to plead with her, and she's doing the same thing Cersei did. She became Cersei. And she died by Jon Snow's hands. It was very epic. And then the dragon comes in, and let's talk about that. I'm sitting there going, oh great, Jon Snow, this is what everyone's pissed about.
Awesome.
I was like, this is what everyone's pissed about. The dragon's gonna kill Jon Snow. But no, it burns the Iron Throne.
That was cool.
Another symbolic thing. He's sitting there saying, Jon Snow, it wasn't your fault. This Iron Throne changed her, and he melted the throne. And he was like sending a message, like this Iron Throne is the cause of all the problems. And then he picks up her dead body and flies away. Like even the dragon knew it wasn't Jon Snow's fault.
Why couldn't she just handle Cersei on her own? I'd like to see something, those two together, big old fight. Would have loved that. And then Cersei to go down.
But it also shows that you can convince yourself of anything if you're passionate enough. Like, Daenerys was completely convinced that she was saving the people. And you got to be careful about that. And like, it's a good message. We all have to be careful because there's sometimes where you are 100% convinced you are on the right side of things and you're not.
And it was funny because I think when she said to Jon Snow that the people didn't have a choice, that was when Jon was like, okay, I shall stab you now.
Yeah, like what if other people have a different idea of paradise? And she's like, they don't get a choice.
And then you get stabbed right in the belly.
And for a second I heard that stab and I thought maybe she stabbed Jon Snow. And I was like...
You did?
For a second, yeah.
Oh.
I still didn't think Jon Snow had it in him, but... So Jon Snow saves everyone and really gets no credit for it. Meeting with the leaders to select the new king. How do you feel about that whole situation?
But I love that they chose Tyrion to be, Bran, and then they chose Tyrion to be his hand. I freaking love that.
Yeah, I think it's great that they all agreed to meet together and, like, resolve this. Even the slave leader, I forgot his name, but Daenerys' general, even though he was being bitter, he still showed up and he still compromised, which showed that he still, in somewhere in his heart, didn't want any more slaughter. So that was good. They determined moving forward, this council is going to select the king rather than blood right, and that's huge. I think that was a great way to end that cycle. But I also want to talk about Bran because I said it. I don't know if I said it in our first recording, but when I was talking to my buddy Stardog, I told him I think something big is gonna happen with Bran because he's like they just keep bringing him along, but not like really saying much about him. And then when he gets selected, I'm like I knew something was gonna happen with him. But it's kind of, it was kind of weird because if he can see the future and see the past, he knew that was going to happen the whole time. So, like, was he, like, carefully, like, orchestrating this so he could be king? Or, like, I mean, he had to have known he was going to get selected.
I think he knew, and that's why he said, I stay in the past, and then he backed away in the prior episode, because if he toys with anything, then that'll change the future. If he already knows the future, so he just let everything play out and didn't really play a big part in anything until it all came to fruition.
So he gives Arya the knife, the dagger that she uses to kill the Night King. He knew that she was going to need that dagger. He was planting seeds the whole time, knowing that it was going to lead. Like, he sat there knowing that the Night King would come after him.
Because if you think of prior episodes when he was over by the tree and he was just going through his own personal experiences with that, maybe he knew what the foreseen future was going to be, and it was going to be something bad, and he did plant little seeds here and there in order for it to come to that. Because he did choose Tyrion to be his hand, and Tyrion is the one that chose and encouraged everybody to choose him as the king. What do you know? You're right.
I mean, out of everyone there, do you think, were you happy that they selected Bran?
Yes.
At first, you were like, what? But then the more we talked about it, you were like, okay, I kind of get it
It's
now.
the most logical explanation.
He's
for
non-threatening. Sure. He doesn't care about power. He can't have kids. He's in a wheelchair, so you don't have to worry about him, being threatening. He's soft. He's a Stark. I mean, there's a lot of good reasons. I mean, we all probably had different people we wanted to see on the throne, but it couldn't be Jon Snow because too many people were upset at him for killing Daenerys.
Plus, he didn't want it anyway.
It'd be kind of cool if it was Sansa. For me, it would have been between Sansa and Bran.
I think the writers did a great job. It all worked out the way that it was supposed to.
So the table scene. I'm only bringing up the table scene because my buddy Andy Kaysen on Facebook told me that he did not like that scene, and I disagree. That scene was awesome. When they're all sitting around for the first time, and all these Rugrats come in that are now leaders of the new kingdom, and they have
the Bad News Bears,
and they have no idea how to act. They come in and they're shuffling the furniture all around and sitting back, and Tyrion sitting there going.
If you think of we were talking about this. If you think of the different conversations that have been had at that table, it's all been about death and destruction and deceit and all of that. And so hearing this conversation was kind of lovely to me.
The treasurer's we have no money to repair the city or ships. They're we need brothels. Yes, we have money for brothels. That was funny.
Those are the type of people I want to be in charge of the kingdoms.
They were calling each other by their titles in a sarcastic way, and then they all didn't do the exit speech right, and then Tyrion's we'll get better at it, my lord. It was. I thought it was very endearing, and I loved it.
A bunch of misfits, but I will say this: if you think about it, every single one of those people have been through the trenches, all of that stuff that we watched them go through, and they're all sitting at that table, and it's all well deserved. It isn't through birthright and things like that, right?
Yeah.
And they're not going to take it for granted, and they're going to make different choices.
And did you see Bran?
That's the best part. That table's the best part. That is where the happiness and the peace comes in. All of these people have been through
no power-hungry lords or anything. They're just they're all there for different reasons than if you saw Bran when they were wheeling Bran away, he was smirking because he was finding humor in this. I don't know. I loved it. Andy Kaysen. Jon Snow's fate to go back to the North Watch. I think it's suiting. I think that's really where he probably would want to be after all this. I imagine he just want to kind of go off and find peace and be by himself. I'm not mad at it at all.
He gets to be with those wildlings. I love the wildlings.
And his direwolf.
They're crazy with
missing
those
an ear.
Oh, I know. I think I think Jon Snow will be happy.
Yeah, he'll
be fine.
Yeah, him and his buddies. Sansa keeping the North independent. I thought that was epic because the whole show starts with her father trying to make that happen and then losing his head for it. So that came full circle, and they tied that up too. And Sansa gets to rule the North. So I think that was epic. I love that.
Perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
Suiting. And then they're all bowing to her as she walks to her seat,
And then Arya got to travel and see the world. I couldn't see her doing anything other than that.
Yep. That's
It matches all of their personalities, and it also shows that Sansa has grown. Now she gets to be the Queen of the North, whereas before, could you ever see her doing that? No way.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Basically this episode was tying up every loose end, and that's what I wrote here on the back. So I said Jon gets to be with his direwolf wolf and the wildlings. So we covered that. Sansa gets to rule the North. Arya gets to adventure, and she gets to be captain of her own ship and everything. That's totally what she would want to do. Tyrion gets to be a hand and keep trying to make peace and undo. I mean, think how miserable he would feel if his life ended the way it did. He got his best friend killed. He was unable to save millions of people. He got his brother killed. His sister's dead. As hard as he tried, everything failed. And now Bran is giving him the opportunity to, fix it all and actually die, at the end of his days, feel more satisfied about what he accomplished.
Also, one more thing. Bran and Tyrion are a good match because Tyrion, I think, is a wise individual.
And Bran is wise.
And so is Bran. I think it's a good fit. I love it.
The only thing I don't love is I don't get to watch that dynamic play out.
I know. I was going to say, I'm going to miss these crazy kids.
One more episode.
These crazy kids are gone off. They grew up and they're going on with their lives. What the heck am I going to do now?
My last tied up loose end is Daenerys and the slaves. We have to give them a little bit of a shout out too because they got their own land. They get their own house, I think. They were going to the Isle of something, and their whole story was to be freed by Daenerys. And then they fought for Daenerys in exchange for their freedom. And now that the war's over, they are free.
Ultimate freedom.
Yeah, so they even got what they wanted. So at the end of the day, everyone got what they wanted, really.
Yep. But how come you guys don't like it? Come on now. They
And,
don't like nice things.
We thought this was going to be a slaughter fest. And
they like destruction.
Daenerys is the only one that died in this episode. We thought like half the people were going to die.
Yeah, we're not doing a Dexter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Dexter.
I'm bitter.
Yeah, that one didn't end very well. So here's to an amazing series. I have no regrets. I love the entire ride. Game of Thrones, good job.
Aw, cheers. Sayonara. Oh. I pick out some of these boogies. Bye-bye, Game of Thrones.
Oh, here we go.
I miss you, Jon Snow.
Oh, hey, make sure you subscribe to our channel and like us, hit the bell, and let us know, do you want us to do more of this type of stuff, or, do you want us to just go back to, like, being stupid?
And we'll get 20 comments on that. Okay, thanks, bye.
Yep. I expect this YouTube video to have 5,000 views. Or 30, 40.
I gotta go teach dance.
You know what I just thought of? I was going to try to use this as a green screen, and I don't think it's going to work, and then I wore a green shirt. Oh, epic fail.
How's that gonna work?
It's not.
Now what?
Now we're going to have a green blanket as our background.
I don't want that.
Well, we don't always get what we want.
Babe.
Sorry.